Thank you guys so much for watching. We're going to get into um, emergency services. We have the fire, we have the paramedics, and the police. 911, right? If your neighbor's house is on fire and you're a good neighbor, what you'll probably do is round up as many people as you can to put out the fire, and whoever can't help, they can call the fire department. Paramedics, same thing. You all try to put out any fires during a car accident, for example, or someone falls off a roof, you try to help them right away, and whoever can't help, they call the paramedics, because the paramedics will come there and administer first aid and help them out. What happens when your house gets broken into? Okay, that's a different story. Before I go on about how much we support the police, I want to say we're eating pretty good around here. I am living off grid though, so we're not wealthy around here. A good meal does happen every once in a while.
Why are you eating cat food, David? Why are you eating cat food, David?
Eating liver with some mesquite beans and a nice Merlot. But a lot of times what we're eating is mesquite beans and whatever little food we can grow on our, what we have right now, a little plot of land, 200 square meters, which hopefully we'll be able to buy another 200 square meters. Let's see what happens in the future. But yeah, anyway, so then you have the third one, the police. But yeah, a little history on the police that we support, which is they are I would say a interesting part of the first responders. At least they should be interesting to you. Okay, in 2020, the wonderful year where the cold became something where we had to put a fake mask on, there were like 1,000 or more people shot by police. Let's see, 459 white people, 243 black people, 171 Hispanic people. So yeah, lots of whiteys get shot by the police. Black lives matter, but don't all lives matter? So, in the US, the police like to shoot you because I have fear for my life. Well, I have a lot of fear for my life when I see those blue and red lights behind me. So, how would that work in court? If I was to defend my life the way a police defends their life, and I said, I had fear for my life, I know that guy's probably going to shoot me. Because that's what I've seen happen in real life. My friend Chris was killed by the police, not with a gun, but by brute force. So, you know, when I see a police, I see the enemy. Okay? I had a few friends of mine that work for, what was it? Anaconda, which is a city of Montana, Deer Lodge Prison. I thought, well, hey, they pay pretty good, and all you gotta do is stand there and hand out some fruit cups and some poorly cooked food to some prisoners in there all day long. And they're pretty good people, basically. I mean, most of them are just drug offenders, so they're harmless and don't actually commit a crime as you would know a crime to normally be. But it's against the law to do a lot in the U.S., okay? For an example, they say it's not an excuse to have ignorance of a law. That would make sense if there's a few hundred laws, maybe. Look, the Jews have, I think, 600 something laws they have to obey, which is really hard. Okay? But I'm not talking about the Jews, because that's hard enough to do that. What I'm talking about is U.S. law. And what is it, like, there's thousands of laws to have to know. If you break them, you go to jail, so you have to know them, because ignorance isn't an excuse. But hundreds of them are added yearly. Yeah, hundreds of them are added yearly. Let's think for a minute. And stop thinking that you're okay because thus far you haven't been bothered by the police. Up until a certain age, everybody hasn't been bothered by the police until they learn. Hey, they're not here to protect me. They can't come and prevent my door from being kicked in. They can't prevent me from being stabbed, shot, murdered, robbed, if you're a woman, raped, or just plain bothered. They can't stop hardly any of that. How are they going to get there in time? It's an impossible job. Best they can do is take a report and maybe find the guy that did it to you, and usually not, but maybe find your property that was stolen. And some of us are so poor that if someone steals my property, that's it. If someone steals my truck, I'm messed up. That's it. I'm not making much income. I can't go out and buy another truck. So sometimes it's a matter of life and death, and I'm going to defend my property. So, what do I do? If someone's out there stealing my truck, well, I can't do anything about it. I better call up police and wait about 20 minutes to about 4 hours around here, because the police are useless around here and in the U.S. Okay? Yeah, I've called them before I knew better. Yes. I actually was unlearned enough to call the police before when my house was broken into. They said, "Do you know who broke into your house?" I'm like, "That's your job. I don't know who broke into my house." And they couldn't figure out who did it. So I, having half a brain at least, asked the high school kids, "Hey, was anyone breaking into my house?" And they know who did it. So I found out who did it. But did the police help? No. You know, sometimes you can't find a good job, and you can't think outside the box, or you refuse to start your own business and do maybe home remodeling or something that would actually do something. So sometimes any old darn job will do. Like back in the antique times, where the worst job you could do is be an executioner, but there's always be someone that would say, "I'll do it. I have no conscience. I don't really care. I'll just do it because I don't really mind." And believe you me, I've asked a lot of people, doesn't it bother you to enforce laws that really have no bearing on helping anybody and actually can hurt? And like, I don't mind. Okay then. All right. That settles it. Not everybody really cares. So, sometimes any darn job will do. Yeah. And they pay pretty good being a police, man. I know some in bigger cities, they make like $100,000, $150,000 a year to put you in the back of your squad car for putting a plant in your body. And yeah, I already know. What people say about that. I mean, it's obvious. Be careful what you put in your body always. But if you are bent on taking a substance that could alter your consciousness, that's up to you to figure out. And if you've been educated on the pros and cons of it and still only look at the pros and not the cons, that's up to you. And not all of us to pay for a criminal system to abuse you into compliance. Although there's lots of people that say, just do what they say. And they'll say that all day long. Sober, by the way. Actually, that's times one. What kind of hack would, usually if you argue that and you say, well, the same system that said it's illegal to put a plant in your body also says it's illegal to avoid the draft. Right? Okay, I keep bringing up Vietnam, but Also, I mean, if you've been watching what's been happening in Afghanistan, Pakistan, and all that, look how many schools are bombed and hospitals. Oh, well, I mean, I've said this before. To make an omelet, you gotta break some eggs, right? No, you don't. I'll tell you what. There's no terrorism that USA has caused ever, right? Or Europe, or any continent for that matter. The only law that you should take to heart is the law that Jesus gave us. The sayings of Jesus is what we can keep and what we should keep. When man's law is contrary to what Jesus says, what are you going to do? Quote, what was it? Romans chapter 13, ad nauseum.